Thank you. Okay, thanks for finding your way here today through all of the tangled wires on the web. Um, Today, I'm presenting to you the strategic plan for the years 2025 to 2030. The work from this plan came from sessions we had last summer and fall with librarians, the CKLS staff, and the CKLS Executive Board. And it informs the work that we'll be doing over the next 5 years. As you know, I am retiring in October of this year, and the board wanted the system plan to give us a roadmap to the future, but it didn't want to make that roadmap so lockstep that a new director couldn't put their spin on it. And that's what we've created. This has been approved by the executive board already, and you have received a copy of it. Let me get myself here. That's good. The first pages of the document talk about the purpose, why we need one. It's because our old one expired, and it talked about the process, which I just very quickly detailed to you. It contains our mission statement and our vision statement. And then on the very third page of the document, it starts talking about the goals. And it's not my intent to read this through word for word. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and raise your hand and we will call on you, or you can type into the chat and one of my staff members will read that for you. So the structure of the plan is pretty straightforward. On that third page, it lists our goals, numbers 1 through 7, and then it lists our strategic directions. And the goals are things that we've always done. It's provide and evaluate consulting, training, and continuing education for library staff, school personnel, and library trustees, to provide financial support to eligible member libraries in taxing counties, and provide technology support for library productivity and service to member libraries, evaluate and support digital content, encourage and support effective programming and services for all ages, encourage and support resource sharing for member libraries, advocate for and market member libraries, regional library systems, and the State Library of Kansas at state and national conferences. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but the state library is not legally allowed to advocate for themselves. And so that is something that the regional library systems have taken on to do that. And so then we talk about the strategic directives. These establish additional priorities drawn from the strategic planning process, and these inform our work. And so this is a public awareness of the system and what the system does. Training and continuing education is always high. Advocacy and technology. And technology is, of course, very broad sweeping and encompasses a lot of different things. But our strategic goals also list performance objectives. And the first one is public awareness. We want our communities and our rural taxpayers and elected officials in our area to have a greater awareness of services and programs provided to libraries by CKLS. Once upon a time, it was very cost effective to send out a mass mailing. That, of course, is no longer the case. And so we have to find other ways. And we know that with Facebook, the algorithm doesn't always favor the people who are not paying for ads. So we need to figure out how we're going to do that. One of the performance objectives is to engage a specialist or a company to develop a marketing program to help us reach our target audience. We will, with that specialist or company, conduct a comprehensive review of the library's web pages, email lists, social media presence, and marketing efforts. We will develop a strategic communications plan, and that way then anytime the CKLS employees put something out, it will have that, it'll fit definitely within the parameters of the communications plan. And that way then there's some continuity to that. We will develop market materials and train librarians and CKLS staff and board members to market CKLS services and programs, and also associated costs, and redesign a website and resource guides that are easy to navigate and stay current. So that's a lot of work in and of itself. We have not yet started to look at any sort of marketing organization to help us. We've got other things we're working on, other projects, but that is a high priority. The performance measure for this strategic goal is that residents of the CKLS region and stakeholders will have an increased awareness about what CKLS provides to their local library. The marketing specialist will be able to help us set realistic measurements for this strategic goal. We don't know if that increased awareness, if a 10% is a realistic goal or if we should aim higher or whatever. And that's why we're going to seek out an outside source to help us with that. Additionally, library workers and public library board trustees will understand and be able to communicate the benefits of consortial level membership. Rural taxpayers will understand the value of CKLS. And library workers will be able to promote all sorts of library services and digital content, such as talking books and the databases from the state library. Is there any questions about that part? So you can see it's broad, but it doesn't say step by step, and it certainly doesn't have time goals associated with it. No? Okay. The second strategic goal is training and continuing education. We aim to continue to provide a continuing education grant to each library. We will conduct a survey to learn which topics are most needed. Internally, we keep a running tally of when the last time was we taught certain topics. And so that way, if you've been here for a long time, it may seem, oh, we just had that, but usually it's about 4 years before we repeat a topic. We will create videos and brief trainings on various topics. The brief trainings is particularly important here. Michael Adamic had started making 5-minute Fridays related to Pathfinder Central, and that is very popular with the librarians. They, at many different levels, indicated that they liked that shorter format. While they might not be able to set a circulation staff member down at the computer to watch an hour-long webinar, they did indicate they could sit somebody down to watch something that was 15 minutes long, but no longer than 30 minutes. And so that's something that we'll be transitioning to in the future. That will be in addition to the longer 1-hour webinars, because sometimes you have to have a longer amount of time. We were also requested that we provide in one place links to all documents referenced in a training, and to include the slideshows if we had a slideshow on a Zoom training event. And this is something that Patty and I and Liz will be working on just probably next month. Create brief videos about the responsibilities of library board officer duties and those responsibilities as well. And that way then library directors and trustees indicated that that would be great. If those are shorter than 15 minutes, that's great. They can just have somebody watch it, and that way then they know what they're supposed to be doing. Frequently when we are brought into help a library that's the board is struggling and the librarian are struggling, it's usually because of roles and responsibilities and communication. So that will go a long way. We hope to help with that. We will continue to market training opportunities that are available to you elsewhere, including the state library. One request was that we provide additional training on new ways to do old things for all library workers. The more seasoned librarians who may have been here for 10, maybe even 20 or more years, have been finding that they're doing things the hard way or the old way. And when they find out that there is a new, easier way, they're really excited about that. And so that's something we'll be working on as well. We already started this last year, but this is part of the initiative is that to try to send out 1 month at a glance, the upcoming CE events and registration links. So we'll have to fix that again with all the links changing over. We were requested to provide year 2 training for new library directors to cover more advanced topics. How we train library directors now is the first year is pretty intense, but it is spread out over the course of a year, and they are like the way that works, and they would like to learn more advanced topics. Develop cataloging standards, and we actually are almost done with that project. I'm excited. I'm going to send out the first big email about that. I think it's on Friday. And share patron learning opportunities for Sunflower eLibrary. We've been in communication with Overdrive, and because we are not providing funding for Hoopla anymore, that funding is going into Sunflower eLibrary. And they said they would work with us to develop some marketing materials as well. So as per the CKLS standard, one performance measure for that is that library workers will attend a minimum of 6 CE events annually, and that's 6 per library. A quorum of the board will attend 1 library continuing education or trustee continuing education event annually. And that already happens as well. And that I always want to remind librarians that these don't have to be things that CKLS creates or presents to you. Again, we'll continue with new librarianship training the way we're doing it. It's been indicated to us that that's very popular and very successful. And then we will provide at least 1 Zoom trustee training each year, and we will continue with the quarterly directors meetings, which are not recorded. And that was a request through the conversations we had. The third objective is advocacy. Liz, you might make that bigger so people can see it. Probably more. You have young eyes. No, I'm teasing you. The goal of that is that library workers and public library boards will have an increased awareness of issues surrounding censorship, library laws, and legal issues pertaining to libraries. We will provide training to help library workers and library boards engage in local advocacy, and to help member libraries develop an advocacy message that works with their community. We will create a resource guide and toolkit, and we will essentially, it says we will engage in robust 2-way communication and outreach. We will let our libraries know what hot issues there are, and we hope that our librarians will do the same with us about things in their community that perhaps we can provide some assistance or even perhaps some information or influence. We would like for CKLS staff and executive board to continue to participate in the Kansas Library Association Legislative Day each year. That is when we go with our colleagues to the Capitol in Topeka, and we actually meet with all of the legislators in our region. And then sometimes for whatever reason, we aren't able to meet with them. And then usually in the summer, we meet within the system and visit with them. Most of the time, we talk about what libraries are doing. Sometimes we talk about what CKLS is doing if it's something different or out of the ordinary. In technology, we recognize that technology is the greatest threat and the greatest opportunity for libraries to improve. We understand that and recognize that technology changes rapidly. And so this is very open-ended, but we are committed to continuing to provide cost-effective digital resources to help members find marketing materials, to establish let's continue to build our Sunflower Library Advantage Plus collection. And to help libraries be able to create more functional mobile websites, train on various technologies, and encourage everyone, of course, and you're already doing that, to budget for technology purposes, purchases, not purposes. We will support that. We will continue to offer Technology Week. And one of those recorded webinars is specifically for library board trustees. So that's kind of it. It's not really big or really complicated. It is very comprehensive. How we will track our progress is that the system librarian will regularly report on the strategic planning initiatives. So that will happen regularly at board meetings through the director's written and oral report. And I know that in August, I will also report what we have been working on and what we've been doing. It's not earth-shaking under any circumstances. But it does give us a pathway to the future. So when I'm almost finished, but I've been working on the 2026 system plan. And I made sure that everything that's in the system plan does align with the strategic plan as well. They are two entirely different documents with entirely different purposes, but they do align. The system plan is where we detail what we will do in the upcoming year. And you will find this year, again, there are some slight changes to that format at the direction of the state librarian. The system directors, it's a little bit more structured, and they're all more similar in a way. That's all I got.